Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Today we're going over the Wraith Magblade build that I play. This is actually something that a guildie of mine showed me years ago, and through all the different nerfs, changes, patches that Zoss has done over the years, this build's been good through all of it. It's actually in a great spot right now that is highly customizable to your playstyle. So we're going to go over a bunch of the different options that you have available to you to help it fit what you want it to do. So let's get right into the build. For starters, we are a dark elf, as we are with all of my Nightblade characters. We're running the apprentice boon for our Mundus to get that extra spell damage. We are a stage 2 vampire for the movability and the extra damage buff for coming in and out of stealth. And we run the sugar skulls for all the max resources and a little extra health recovery. For the gear, we're starting off with the Master's Inferno Staff. If you farm out the perfected version, then you're going to pick up an extra 100 spell damage that I don't have on this build. What you want to pay attention to is the fact that we're running it infused. Our weapon enchant is at almost 7,000, so we're basically picking up an extra ability as far as damage when we're proccing our glyphs every couple seconds. We're going to be getting a lot of glyph procs in this build. So it's very nice, a lot of free damage. The reason we're running this is the 600 spell damage also. That's kind of using that to replace Spider Cultists from the previous version of this build. On our back bar, we're running the Asylum Inferno Staff, so we can keep all of the burning, concussed, and chilled status effects procced on the players we're fighting. You will notice that I am running Destro. We're not running heals on this build. It is a very aggressive play setup. Now, when it comes to what you want to use for your monster set, you have a lot of good options. You can run Zons because of the amount of light attacks and how close we're going to be getting during fights, if you want. Valscoria has a nice proc. It's not quite as predictable or up as much as we would like, because we don't run as many dots on this build. However, if one of the staffs you choose to use a lightning, just holding a single heavy attack on somebody is going to proc it the majority of the time, just because of the way lightning staffs tick on their heavy attacks. However, I choose to run One Piece Dama just for the extra resources. For our armor, we're going all light armor, and we're going to use Turret's Pact. Now they have changed the 2-piece on this. It's no longer the spell damage, so we did lose a little bit there. They're trying to make it more of a tank set as opposed to the DPS set that we used it as previously. However, they did increase a small little buff with the 5-piece to help the damage and chance and cooldowns on them. So we are proccing a little bit more often and a little bit harder. Then I'm mixing in 1 piece of Scoria for that extra penetration. Everything's going to be in Divines except for the chest and legs, which we put infused just to get a little extra max stats. Now, when it comes to jewelry, you actually have quite a few options, and this is where we can really customize the build to your specific playstyle and needs. For me, I like 3 pieces of willpower with the spell damage and chance on everything. It's a lot of raw damage. It's kind of how I prefer the run. However, if you're going to be using the light armor shield, and you want bigger shields, more max resource, then go ahead and run Ancient Grace and get that extra max magica. If you have farmed out mythic items, then use the mythic item that you prefer, whether it's Torque or Pale Order. This is actually a great way to increase your survivability on this build since we're not running heals. Torque's a ton of resources. We have a huge max pool. I mean, we're almost at 20k stamina on our magic character. So it's fairly easy to get a few dodge rolls in and be below and have Torque procced and up a lot of the time. So it really just depends on how you want to run it. I prefer when I'm running Pale Order or Torque to just pair it with a 2-piece of the willpower. So either way. And that's going to give you a nice chunk of that max magica with whichever mythic item you prefer to run for your playstyle. For champion points, we're going to stick 61 into Warlord, keep our break freeze as cheap as possible. 3 points into Sprinter, extra point into Siphoner, 43 and 43 into Tenacity and Arcanist for our recoveries, 63 into Shade to reduce the cost of sneak, and 56 into Tumbling, 56 into Elfborn and Elemental Expert, 36 into Spell Erosion, 56 into Staff Expert, 66 into Master of Arms, 72 into Ironclad, 56 into Resistant, 43 into Hardy and Elemental Defender, 13 into Thick Skin, and 43 into Quick Recovery if you're going to run the Pale Order. If you're not running the Pale Order, then go ahead and take those 43 points and get a little bit of extra into Thick Skin and raise your resistance up to like 62. So for our skills, we're starting with Concealed Weapon. This is going to be our movement bar and the opening side of our combo. Inner Light to go ahead and get the Max Magica along with the Major Prophecy buff. Shadowy Disguise. Flame Clench. I go ahead, I don't use Reach for the extra range. I want the stun and to knock players off their feet. Helps disrupt them and what they're trying to do a lot. It's very good. And also, when we're taking pressure, since we don't have heals, to go ahead and use that to knock somebody back, get them off of you, get into cloak, break contact, you know, reset the fight to your advantage and re-engage. Merciless Resolve. It's a very nice tooltip for the magic damage on Spectral Arrow, and we will have that up quite a bit with the amount of heavy attacks, light attacks that we're doing in our combo. Shooting Star is the ult that we run on this bar. On our Asylum side, running Soul Harvest for the ult. The extra 20% damage that they take is really good from that. Siphoning Strikes, this allows us to get at least some healing and some of our regen of magic basically off of this ability as well. Crushing Shock, We want to be able to use this for the interrupts, to get them off balance, stun characters as well. Dampen magic for our shield. We're double barring the inner light. And then impale for our execute. Okay, so one of the great things about Torag's Pact is you don't even have to be on the bar to proc the weapon glyph that you launch the attack on. So I'm going to throw out a light attack and bar swap, and you're still going to see, even though I'm on the other bar before the attack lands and the damage happens, I still get that particular glyph proc.
I'm not configured for combat.
And I still have this glyph to proc hits. As a matter of fact, right now, with Infused, if you were running on both, you're going to get a glyph proc on almost every bar swap. I mean, you can sit here and just go back and forth, and you're going to get glyph proc fairly consistently, and I'm not even running double.
I'm not a large fat totem, you know. So this is how it ends.
So one of the things that makes this build so fun for me to play is just the diversity and the wide range of options that you have for damage and combinations to kill people. So the basic combination you're going to start out with is make sure your buffs are up, so you get that little bit of healing, you get the magic regen when it runs out, and through our rotation we build our spectral bow. Even when you're in stealth, you're still going to hit your disguise right before your attack, because you want that to end, and you want to pick up the extra damage buff from your vampire passes. So you're going to cloak into your enemy, you're going to wind up, build your heavy attack, toss out your clinch. As soon as you hit your clinch, you're bar swapping, light attack, pulse, light attack, pulse. And that's the basic opener that you're going to use on this build. Now, at this point, this is where the options of what you have to do really
You're just spring-loaded today, aren't you?
Glass cannon snipers are going to be dead at this point anyways, but if you're hitting somebody that's got a little bit more resilience, you have your impale, which is a great ranged execute. I've seen actual damage numbers of hitting players from 12 to 18,000 this patch just off of that execute. If you need to go ahead and hit somebody with an end cap to get the extra 20% boost to damage, you can do that and then execute. You can even hit your end cap, get the damage boost, bar swap, pull off another light attack, clinch to get the extra 600 damage from the masters again, and then at that point your spectral bow is built up if they haven't been dodging your attacks, and you can hit them with that.
Please be more careful in the future.
If they still have a lot of health left after you do the opening, then you can immediately bar swap, drop your meteor, and in the 2 seconds that that meteor is getting ready to fall, go ahead and pull off another light attack, get the damage boost before the meteor hits, and fire your spectral bow and have the meteor and spectral bow hit them at the exact same time. Just a lot of diversity in the different types of combos that you can pull off. Just really fun overall for me to play. Alright guys, I know this wasn't your typical meta Nightblade build. It's one of the reasons why I enjoy it so much as well. I hope you guys enjoy it and get some good use out of it. I'm looking forward to getting back out there and getting a good day of gameplay on it. So I appreciate everybody that took the time to watch the video. As always, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, leave them down below. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. You guys have a great day.